So here's what I'm thinking about the entire Brett Favre saga. Seems to me that a lot of people think that he's selfish or very indecisive for wanting to come back from retirement. Well, first of all, about the entire retirement thing. He never was retired. He never signed any papers saying as much, and so he wasn't retired. And there's a lot of players, a lot of great players that say, hey, I want to retire. And then they go, wait a minute, no I don't. And a lot of these players don't even decide to come unretired before the beginning of the next season. They wait like 2 or 3 years, and then they come back. You got guys like Michael Jordan. I mean, he couldn't even decide what sport he wanted to play after he retired. So, that's that. And then people say that he's selfish because he doesn't want to play for the Green Bay Packers anymore. Well, it seems to me that it's more the general manager of the Green Bay Packers that doesn't want him to play anymore, Ted Thompson. You see, they signed a 10-year contract, and as I think about it, I'm thinking all they wanted to do really was keep him in Green Bay for the next 5 years, at which point they expected him to retire. If you look back, that's around the time that he started, struggling with, do I want to retire or do I want to come back? Do I want to retire or do I want to come back? And, he'd come back. And if your team's telling you, come on, Brett, retire, come on, Brett, retire, you're probably going to listen to them, especially when you played your entire career with them. But then you go, well, I still want to play. I still got another 5 years, still got another 4 years, still got another 3 years, still got another 2 years. So, you want to keep on playing. And then, they sign a new quarterback to take over for your job, which is, completely acceptable. That, you got to move on at some point. And, fine, the Green Bay Packers don't want Brett Favre to play for them anymore. They've spent a lot of money and time on Aaron Rodgers, which is, completely acceptable and expected. I actually have great faith in Aaron Rodgers, and, as a Green Bay Packers fan, I'd love to see Aaron Rodgers play this year. Kind of disappointed that I probably won't get to see Brett Favre play as a Green Bay Packer, but at the same time, I think Aaron Rodgers has a lot of potential, and so I understand that side of it. And at the same time, I understand how the Green Bay Packers don't want Brett Favre to go to the Vikings, or any team for that matter, because Brett Favre is an icon. And he's not an icon in the NFL. I mean, well, he is an icon in the NFL, but the reason he's an icon in the NFL is because he's an icon in Green Bay. And he's never played for any other team. I mean, sure, he was on the Atlanta Falcons, but he didn't play. I mean, I think he had a few games, but he was never an important aspect to that team. So I understand how Green Bay wants to keep him in Green Bay or have him retire as a Green Bay Packer. But at the same time, when you tell him, hey, we don't want you to go to another team, but we don't want you playing for us, what kind of message does that send to anyone? I mean, if I was Brett Favre, I'd be pretty upset too. And I'd probably want to go play for another team if I wanted to play that bad. And I'm pretty sure most anyone would agree that Brett Favre wants to play football. I mean, that's his life, and it's a lot more. It's beyond the money. It's just he has a lot of fun doing it, and I think he realizes that he's very lucky that he can do it, and that he can play at the high caliber that he does, especially at age 38, bringing his team to the NFC Championship. That's a talent for anyone. I mean, I think he's one of, if not the oldest, great quarterback to play. I don't think any other quarterback has brought their team to an NFC Championship game, or AFC Championship game for that matter, at age 38 as a quarterback. So, there's rumors that he wants to go to the Jets. I guess that one's actually been pretty much squashed. And then there's rumors that he wants to go to Tampa Bay. You know what? Let him. And I think they're going to have to let him, because no team can afford a $12 million backup at any position. I mean, if it's going to be any position they could afford a $12 million backup, it would obviously be quarterback, because quarterback is probably the most important single position in the entire football game. But not even the Yankees, if they played football, would be able to afford to have a $12 million backup. It's just not possible. And then apparently Brett Favre has this little unofficial no trade clause in his contract, whatever that means. But I guess if they try to trade him to another team, say for example they try to trade him to the Jets, and he doesn't want to play for the Jets, he just doesn't show up. Yeah, that's right. He just doesn't have to show up. And when he doesn't show up, he doesn't get fined. He just gets reverted back to his old team. So he can do that as many times as he wants until he gets traded to a team he wants to get traded to. Probably the Vikings or perhaps Tampa Bay. Hello, kitty. And then, so Green Bay can't afford to have a $12 million backup, and Brett Favre can just say no every time he gets traded to a team he doesn't like. So at the end of the day, Green Bay is either going to have to trade him to the team that he wants to be traded to, or they're just going to have to release him. And that's pretty much that.